What's good, YouTube? Red Raider Gator is finally back to uploading videos. I apologize. As soon as Mythical Island came out, I got super sick, so I pretty much spent that entire week recovering, and I live 14 hours from home. So after that, I drove home for Christmas. The drive was a killer, so I just spent time with family, but we're back, and I decided I wanted to kind of switch up what I was doing. So what you're looking at right now is a deck that I entered into the Paldea Pro League number 3 tournament today. It was a big tournament, 400 or 500 players, but I just want to enter tournaments and have some fun. I think it's more fun than like getting 15 XP on a ranked or on an unranked game for whatever reason. So this is the deck that I entered. It's pretty standard. We have our 2 Execute, 2 Exeggutor, 2 Mew EX, 1 Tauros. We're gonna edit this deck a little bit after you guys see some videos. You won't see every game from the tournament. You'll actually hear me commentating over at postcom. I'm gonna try to do some either live streaming or at least live com, but it just takes up a lot of space, and I don't know if I have the hardware for that right now. But I'll definitely show you guys the highlights. Unfortunately, I had to drop out of this tournament after the 3rd match because some stuff came up. But other than that, it was super fun. I think we might switch out the 1 Mew EX for a Tauros. You'll see in this match there were a bunch of times where Mew's genome hacking just didn't quite pack the punch that I wanted. And with Tauros, even though it sucks going online with Tauros because you don't know what deck you're going to play, usually in tournaments you're playing a lot of meta decks, a lot of Celebes, Articunos, Charizards, Pikas, Mewtwo's, a lot of EX cards, other Mews. So his hitting for 120 plus our Giovanni in this deck would be super nice. So I might switch that up, but let's hop right into the games and I will show you guys what went down in the tournament. Okay, so this is game number 3 of the first round. I will show you guys all the results at the end. I don't want to spoil anything. I want you guys to make it to the end of the video. But it was 1-1 at this point, so this was the deciding game. We only drew Mew in our opening hand, which it's not great, but it's not terrible at this point because Exeggutor, of course, only needs 1 energy to power up, but I know we need Exeggutor kind of soon. So, of course, they get their Exeggutor as soon as possible. They've got their Celebi already in the back line, and they flip heads on the Tropical Swing to bring my Mew EX down to 50. So we draw the Tauros. This was pretty big. This basically just gave me a chance on this particular play to get this Mew out so it didn't die and I didn't give up 2 points right away. So I believe I end up X-speeding here. Yeah. And I X-speed this Mew out into this Tauros, and I just, the hope was, I don't think they were running 1 Sabrina, so the hope was no Sabrina, so that they couldn't take it out. They flipped tails, which was very nice. Tauros is at 60, which means, he could possibly live another hit, although we're trying to not let that happen. We only have 1 Tauros in the deck, and this Tauros can come in very, very handy against EX Pokemon. So I finally find the Execute. So I tried to keep the Pokemon in this deck to a minimum so that the Pokeballs get max value. And that's where Exeggutor really helps because it can attack for 1 energy, really low cost, and it's really tanky, so you can set up some other things in the back while it's going on. I decide to power up Tauros again, obviously just in case they knock out my Execute this turn. I didn't want to waste the energy. So they did flip the heads, unfortunately, and we couldn't get our Exeggutor out there. And this is where I got a little bit concerned. I'm like, they already have Exeggutor out. They've got their, Celebi in the back line that they've attached 2 energy to already. So the only hope here is really just hoping that they can't get to their superior and that we can, get rid of this Exeggutor and maybe Celebi lets us stay in the game a little bit longer. But I take my 120 damage here because I figure at worst they take this Exeggutor out and try to flip coins with Celebi. But it was, of course, they were going to keep Exeggutor in, so they flipped tails, and that was huge. I think that was sort of a turning point. A heads there pretty much ends the game. Doesn't quite end the game, but it gives me a little bit of hope that we can still draw more Pokemon. So we take 2 points. We're up 2-1 now. And from this point on, this is how the Celebi decks go, it's basically just Exeggutor in the front line, take as many hits as possible, put Celebi up with the hope that you also have Superior waiting and ready, and then just flip as many coins. So they flip 3 and knock out my Tauros, which is fine. I would have liked to do damage. And so the goal here, which is kind of what we knew it was going to come down to, is just flip coins. I need all 3 of these coins to hit heads. And this is, like, I don't love coin flips in this game, but it makes you feel like you have a chance. I'm not out of it. I have to play it until the very, very end, but I wasn't feeling very good. We got the first one. We got the second one. Boom! Yes, sir! That was a dub. I ended up 1-0. I think this guy started 0-2 and then dropped, but he should have won this. He had me pretty much locked up here, but that was game 1, and I will see you guys in the next game. Okay. This is game number 1 of round 2, so this is right after. I forgot to screen record at the very beginning, so we jump in. They've got a fully powered up Charizard because, of course, they hit an Inferno Dance. I have a Mew down in the bottom right that's basically keeping that Charizard on the bench. And of course, so now they Heat Blast me. They've just powered up this Moltres 1, 2, 3. They've gotten some good coin flips. We're leafing out into our Mew here because they only play 1 copy of Sabrina. So there's nothing that they can Sabrina again. So we know this Mew is going to be able to A, either soak up a shot, or B, they put in Charizard to kill it, and then we kill the Charizard. It's so interesting that the next 2, or this game and the next game that you see, will be against the Charizard deck. It just made me think, man. It was so fun going up, having to figure out what I was gonna do if they were gonna bring Charizard in. Obviously we got Mew both times. This is where Mew really came in handy. I'm thinking this deck might need 2 and 2 maybe, but that just seems like too much because you want those Pokeballs to be really, really valuable. So we get our Exeggutor there with the Professor's Research, and from here it's just standard X speed out with the Mew into the Exeggutor. Start swinging. They don't have any healing in their deck, no potions, so we are trying to hit this Moltres in 2 shots, or basically we need to heads this turn so that they are A, either forced to retreat, or B, be forced to possibly give up 2 points the next turn. But yeah, just a basic turn. We did indeed flip our heads here to bring them down to 60. It was just this matchup in particular was so fun, and I'll show you guys the last matchup. It was a Pikachu matchup in round 3, and I had to leave early, but he was gonna win anyway, so it was no big deal. But I had to leave early, so but this Arcazard matchup was so fun with the Mew and the Tauros because all they have is just EX Pokemon. So they X-Speed out so I can't kill into their Arcanine. I know they can't attack, that turn. They ended their turn, sent it to me. So now it's just, what do we do? Our Mew and our Tauros is powered up. So I think the play here, I'm thinking, because at this point, see, we could put it here so we can retreat next turn. And that's what I end up doing, because then it puts this Arcanine, if they end up, they can't kill me next turn because they can't Sabrina. So I can X-Speed out and kill their Arcanine with this Tauros. So this is basically saying, hey, if you, it's not quite checkmate because I have 0 points, but every single one of their Pokemon, except for the one in the back left, is that a Charmeleon at this point, is basically within 1-shot range of me. So there's not really a whole lot they can do. They've already used their Sabrina here. And so we're really just waiting to see, are they can waste their energy, right? Go back out into the Charmeleon, or are they going to just attack with this Arcanine, in which case we kill it with Tauros, and then what happens, right? Do they bring in the Charizard? So they do just Inferno Onrush. That brings them down to the 90 HP that we were looking for. I know they were thinking really hard, but at this point, both of us are really far through our decks. We've got a lot of cards. I do have the 1 X speed necessary, just to keep the energy on Exeggutor, because we might need his double energy later, his energy later to attack, and we might, it just keeps us from having to stall if something happens. But from this point, it felt pretty straightforward to me. It was knock out the Arcanine here, and then again, it was like, okay, what do they do? what do they do from this point? They do indeed have another Moltres that I believe they put down, and that's where I was like, okay, so they're just stalling for more. But the problem with stalling is you eventually run out of cards, and you eventually have to start wasting your energy. So his thing here is just keep the Charizard ready to go for as long as possible. But I believe he puts Moltres down and attaches an energy to the Moltres and ends turn. Does he? No, he didn't Inferno Dance. So yeah, we just go back. We start powering up our other Mew. And at this point, like, again, I'm feeling good. So I sit here and I'm thinking now, of course, we Erica up to heal. But at this point, it was like, we just have to do the fighting tackle, right? Because then with our Giovanni in hand, that puts this Charmeleon in one-shot range of my Exeggutor. So now I'm thinking, okay, so what? They're going to put in this Moltres? That's fine. This Moltres doesn't hurt me this turn, right? They are clearly using this Moltres to Inferno Dance, which is fine. So then we are going to hit it with Fighting Tackle again or Inferno Onrush, sorry. So they flip their coins. And of course, a Moltres deck, being a Moltres deck that it is, they get some heads. But at this point, it was pretty much checkmate. Like, he's still at 0 points. I've got 2. Everything else on their board gives me 2 points minus the Charmeleon anyway, but it doesn't matter because he can't win the game next turn. So I've got everything powered up on my back line, and we're basically just saying, okay, we're gonna sacrifice this Tauros, but first we're gonna take 120 damage off your Moltres, because all they've got left, they can take out the Tauros. That's it. They can't Sabrina again. So they take out my they either take out my Tauros or they don't attack again. But either way, we have it covered. We are fine here. We can just retreat out into into Exeggutor and win. And he finally figured it out. So he conceded there, and that was a win. It was so fun. I wish I could have actually gotten to use Mew's genome hacking, but we jump into game number 3 here, and I lost game number 2. So this again, we come down to the wire here. I'm trying to go 2-0 in the tournament. Super excited. We start with Execute on the board, but 2 Professor's Research and a Tauros in hand, so I'm feeling pretty good. I don't want to play the Tauros right off the bat because we don't have Leaf, so I wanted to get something else to play. So of course we play our Professor's Research here. We're really looking for an Exeggutor EX as well to be able to evolve next turn. So yeah, first turn for me, second turn of the game, we decide not to play the other Execute down. So we play Mew, and this is where, so I start making some mistakes in this game, and this is where it's like really cool to go back and rewatch your game. So there, I probably should have played the Execute, really just because they're running 1 copy of Sabrina, and that would mainly stop them from playing it. Like, they wouldn't even really need to play it if the other Execute is on the bench, so that would save my bench mons. But it is what it is, especially because we didn't have an X-Speed or a Leaf there. But they Inferno Onrush, only get the 1 heads. We top deck our Exeggutor EX, which was massive. And then we, of course, are going to play our other Professor's Research, see what we can draw into. Of course, so I grab the Mew here. We play it, on the bench. It's just Sabrina bait since we have the 1 energy on the other Mew EX. And we just start flipping. We are looking for a heads. We're really looking to take down this Moltres in 2 turns, and that is step number 1. This puts them in a weird spot because they don't have any potions, so they either have to Inferno Onrush, which they do, or they have to retreat. So they Inferno Onrush, hoping that I don't flip another heads. We, of course, this is like, there are turns in this game where you really have to make decisions, and there are turns where you don't. Playing Tauros there is fine. Again, they're loading up EX Pokemon, so we eventually want to get there. Put the energy on Mew EX so it's ready, and we flip another heads and get our first 2 points, and I'm feeling really, really good out of the gates. We took down that Moltres as fast as possible. The problem with Moltres is that it's a basic Pokemon, and he runs 2 of them. So, of course, there's their Moltres. There's Leaf. So they Leaf out of the Arcanine back into the Moltres to keep doing the Inferno Onrushes, which is so fun, really enjoyable. Except for he didn't. For whatever reason there, I'm not really sure why, but he attached the energy to the Charmeleon in the back. I guess he's just trying to get it ready. I'm not really worried about either of their backline mons, as Ex is powered up and takes them both down in one hit. But at this point, he is just forced to do whatever he can. So he plays out a Sabrina, and I put out Tauros because there's no energy on it. It only gives him 1 point if he somehow were to be able to kill me this turn. And so I just did that. Of course, we have our Pokeball, and we have the copy of, I think, Leaf. So we end up, we just Leaf back out here. And what I should have done, this was my first big mistake. I should have Leafed into this Ex and genome hacked the Fire Blast, but unfortunately I wasn't paying attention close enough, and I put Exeggutor back in, and that's where we flipped the tails, which lets the Moltres live. I'm not super worried at this point just because of the way we're set up, but he puts Arcanine out, and he knows that I've already used the Leaf, and I already know that I've used the Leaf, so I can't Leaf back out here. So it's really just get some other stuff powered up. Like, anything we do here is okay because the Moltres is down within range and the Charizard is going to be within range of our Mew. So it's really just kind of like, what can he do at this point? Can he pull out any plays? I'm still feeling good, but none of this should have ever happened. I should have won with the genome hacking play, which I actually didn't catch until I watched this back. So it's very interesting. I highly encourage you guys to go watch your games back. Don't just lose and say you hate the deck, and there it is. He concedes, we win. He kind of saw the writing on the wall. It didn't really matter what we did there, and that was it. So I will show the results real quick, and then I will get out of your hair. Okay, so these were my results from this tournament. Like I said, we won the first round. That was game number 3 that you guys saw. And then we won the second round. You guys saw games 1 and 3. And then in round 2, I lost in games 1 and 3, I believe, or maybe even 2 and 3. Unfortunately, in game 3, I had to leave early, but I want to let it known he would have beaten me anyway. But I was fully planning on continuing in the tournament for at least another loss. But some stuff came up that I had to go take care of, but it's no big deal. There's more of these tournaments like every day, so whenever I can just get the chance and sit down and play them, hopefully I can live stream a little bit in the future. I'd love to live stream these tournaments, and then maybe post the videos after of them editing, but I'd love you guys to be able to see the whole tournament. I'm just not sure about my hardware situation right now. I basically do everything off a MacBook Pro, so this might just be how it is for a while. If I can figure out some stuff for live streaming or showing you guys like full hour and a half, like the thing is like I only made it through 3 rounds today, and if I had shown you guys every game and like commentated over it or whatever, it was gonna be like an hour-long video. So if I like play a whole tournament or like go further in tournaments in the future where I'm in like the round 7, 8, 9, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you guys every video, so it might just have to be like live streams, and then I'll go back and like find the really good matches and put them in a video like this and then show the results at the end. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to see the results so that it's not like, he's lying or whatever. Nope, we went 2-1 in the tournament, and then unfortunately I had to drop. So I'll be back with some more videos, some more tournaments. Basically, I think this is what I'm gonna be doing now. I really enjoy this a lot more than jumping into whatever, making a new deck every day and then just ditching it. I like to learn the decks and get better with them, so hopefully you guys do too. Let me know if you guys want to see any decks in some tournaments in the future, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Peace.